Hi there, Maria Gracia here, owner of GetOrganizedNow.com. Hope you're having a wonderful day. I woke up this morning, the sun was shining. I stepped out on my deck and it wasn't too hot, it wasn't too cold. The birds were chirping, and I said to myself, this is going to be a really good day. And it was really inspiring to me. So I thought I'd pop in and say hello and hope you're having a good day as well. And I thought I'd share a couple of fun things with you this morning, and I hope you stick around with me for those. So I have an agenda all prepared right in front of me, and I'm going to tell you a couple of things that we're going to be talking about today. We're going to start off talking about my GON in 5 minutes newsletter and the benefits of being on it if you're not already on it. We're also going to be talking about something that has been on my mind this week, a little girl in town who has been going through some challenges, and how we can all learn from what she's going through. I also recently went on a road trip with my 17-year-old daughter, so I want to chat for just a few minutes about that and some organizing tips along with that, of course. I'm going to go over a book that I recently read that I highly recommend, and then I'd like to do a reader shout out at the end. So I hope you stick around with me. So let's go one by one through these agenda items. First off, my GON in 5 minutes newsletter. Now, you already may be a subscriber, and I hope you are, but if you're not, I hope you pop onto my GetOrganizedNow.com website and subscribe. You will benefit from subscribing to my newsletter if you want to get organized. I guarantee it. My readers have told me that just by being on my organizing list before they even lift a finger, before they declutter one item, before they open their calendar and do something that I mentioned, they're automatically feeling and they are more organized than they were before they were on the newsletter list. Now, why is that? Whenever you are reminded of something over and over and over and over again, it stays in the top of your mind. So everything that's going on in your mind, there's always a jumble of things. We all have a jumble of things. We have to cook, we have to clean, we have to work, we have social engagements, we have families. There's a lot of stuff going on in our minds. But if you're reminded of something every day, that whatever you're being reminded of is going to come to the top of your mind. And that's kind of how it is with my GON in 5 minutes newsletter. It's a daily newsletter. It's always filled with an organizing tip, inspiration, motivation, a quote of the day, recommendations I make, all about living a more organized, happy life. So I really hope that you subscribe. All you have to do is go to my GetOrganizedNow.com website. You'll see it right away. Join list. That's basically it. We don't share or sell your name, anything like that. Your privacy is protected with us. And every single day when you wake up in the morning, I will be in your mailbox. So please subscribe and let me know if you're liking the newsletter. I'm 99.9999% sure you're going to love it. And I will be so happy to be with you each morning. So let's go over the something on my mind. So there's a little girl in town. Her name is Ava, and she has been going through a really hard time this week. So I'm telling you this for two reasons. Number one, so you keep her in your thoughts and maybe send her some good vibes. She could really use them. Her family could really use them right now. And number two, to just give you some perspective if you're having a bad day. I know sometimes if something's bothering me, something's annoying me a little bit, you have to kind of put it in perspective. And thinking about somebody else who's going through a major challenge sometimes really does help put things back in perspective. So anyway, I'm going to tell you about her. So she's a little girl. She's 8 years old. She dances. She's happy. She has a wonderful family. One day she was on her iPad and she was just playing, And the next minute, she was screaming to her mom that she had terrible pains in her legs. And then all of a sudden, she had no feeling in her legs or her feet. And within no time at all, this perfectly healthy girl could no longer stand up. She can no longer walk. And it's like, what is going on? So her mom rushed her to Children's Hospital, and she has been in Children's Hospital for what's going on 2 weeks now. And they finally came up with a diagnosis, and it did take them quite a few days to come up with this, but it is called transverse myelitis. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. But it is a rare neurological condition of the spinal cord. And the spinal cord gets inflamed, and it's causing her not to be able to walk. So the underlying condition is unknown at this point. We're hoping and praying for recovery, a full recovery, we pray, but it is going to be a bit of a long road ahead of her. So please keep her, Ava, and her family in your thoughts and prayers. Now, her mom has been super busy. She's been at the hospital with her little girl, and with the help of all the nurses and the doctors helping her. And her mom is taking photographs of her, is video recording her. Ava's gotten a lot of gifts. I'm really kept up to date on what this little girl is doing. And every day, it seems to be a little bit more progress. So just this past week, she was able to sit in a chair and take the bottom of her legs and kind of kick them out and hit a ball. And they also put some braces on her legs, and she's on this treadmill, and she's bars on the side, and she's holding on, and she's trying to, she did stand up on her own for a few moments, and now they're working on her moving forward a little bit at a time. So every day this girl has to relearn, I guess it would be, how to walk. So, if you're having a bad day, yesterday, I'm telling you, I was on the road, I was driving, I was cut off by this truck driver who, I had my blinker on, and I couldn't get over to the exit that I wanted to get over to, because as soon as he saw me put my blinker on, he slammed on the accelerator. I could actually hear this truck accelerating behind me, and he would not let me off the exit. So I don't know, maybe he was having a bad day, but for those few moments, it was not fun. I was not very happy. It was like, why would somebody do that? But then, you take a deep breath and you come back to somebody like Ava, who has an ongoing challenge, and you kind of say to yourself, okay, step back, nothing happened, everything is okay. So anyway, please keep Ava in your thoughts and prayers today, and send her good vibes, send her family good vibes. They really can use them. And just remember to keep everything in perspective, because you absolutely don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. Sometimes you don't know what the next moment is going to bring. So, okay. So I'm also going to talk to you today about a road trip that my daughter and I took. So we live in Wisconsin, and my daughter is getting ready to research colleges. I shouldn't say she's getting ready to research colleges. She's been researching colleges for months now, but we're visiting colleges right now. So we decided, just she and I, we got in a car and we drove over to the East Coast. We drove to New York, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, just all, a whole bunch of East Coast states, a whole bunch of schools that she wanted to visit over there. And it was an amazing trip. So I did want to just share with you a couple of things that we learned along the way on that trip. First off, it's a pretty long drive from Wisconsin to New York. So we kind of did the trip in baby steps. When we organized the trip, what we immediately did was we found the midpoint of the trip, which was Ohio, and we decided that that's where we would stay when we were halfway through the trip. So we made a reservation for a wonderful Holiday Inn in Ohio, and that was the midpoint. So our goal was to make the trip to the East Coast in 2 days, which we did. Now, it was probably about a 7 hour drive from Wisconsin to where we were going in Ohio. And we didn't want to do that whole trip in one long, bout. So what we did was we stopped every 2 hours along the way to get up, to get out of the car, stretch our legs. If we needed gas for the car, we got gas for the car. Walk around, have something to eat if we were hungry. But we did stop every 2 hours. And I did half of the driving and my daughter did half of the driving. So that made life a little bit easier. But little by little, we made our way to Ohio. Now, granted, this is the longest I've ever driven in my life. My husband usually drives everywhere. I don't make huge, I don't usually go beyond the mall an hour away. But anyway, it was really amazing. So little by little, we made this trek into Ohio. And the next day we woke up bright and early, had a light breakfast, and we continued our trek all the way through. And one of our first stops was in New York. So it was a very long drive, but it was definitely easier because we broke it up into these baby steps along the way. It was great company. We found radio stations we loved. We had a 1980s music theme. My kid loves 80s music. It's so amazing. It's from music from my childhood, which is so cool. We played Harry Potter for one of the hours into our trip. We played ABBA for some of the time into the trip. It just kind of having these little themes. We used Spotify, so we had these little musical themes that kind of filled every hour of the trip, and that definitely made the time go faster. So I obviously can't tell you all about this trip in one day. It was amazing. My daughter learned a ton. We visited, I think it was 7 or 8 colleges while we were out there. Each one does a 3-hour visit. She's not even sure if she wants to go to college out there yet, but it's a really wonderful learning experience, and we're glad that we had the opportunity to visit these amazing colleges. We went to Colgate, we went to Marist, we went to Fairfield University, Syracuse, Johns Hopkins, Trinity. I can't even remember them all, but it was an amazing, different, unique experience on each campus. So she has to make the decision about where she's going pretty soon, but that'll be coming up. But we're glad that we did the research. Of course, while we were there, we had a clipboard with us the whole time, and we had questions that we needed answered at each school. So we were keeping track of all those answers. And then when we arrived back home, we put all of that into a spreadsheet. And now she can make an informed decision based on all that information and all of the information that she's gathered from other colleges. She's also looked in Wisconsin and Illinois as well. So anyway, so a couple of organizing tips from that road trip that I do on a lot of vacations and mini vacations that I go on, but I really wanted to share with you today because they're definitely useful if whether you're going on a long vacation or just overnight somewhere. So one thing that I always find very useful on vacation is bringing along, oh, there they are. I'm like, I thought I had everything in front of me. Hang on a second, I'll be right back. All right, something that I found I always find very useful to have with me when we're out on the road is a pair of baby scissors. Um, Baby scissors, seriously, I can't tell you how many times I've used these during this trip. We had to open a bag of crackers, and sometimes, sometimes you can just pull those plastic bags apart and it's super easy. And other times you can stand there for 10 minutes trying to pull a bag apart. And sometimes if you pull it apart too hard, your crackers or chips go flying all over the place. So we use this to open packaging along the way. My daughter also brought some new outfits with her for her college visits, and they had clothing tags on them. So we had the scissors to cut those clothing tags off along the way. Having a pair of baby scissors in your luggage if you're on a plane. I think you might be able to carry baby scissors on a plane too, as long as they're short enough. But definitely check before you go on a plane trip and before you bring scissors on a plane with you. They probably have to be covered, and I think they have to be less than 4 inches. And anyway, definitely check before you bring them on a plane. But if you're going on a road trip, definitely have them with you no matter where you go, and easily accessible so you can pull them out along the way if you need to. So baby scissors, don't leave home without them. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to tell you about was this thing I saw. This is not my idea. I saw this, but it's such an amazing idea. You go to a hotel, you have a toothbrush, and what do you do with the toothbrush? So a lot of people will put the toothbrush back in their carry-on, or they will take the toothbrush and lay it on the counter in the hotel bathroom, or they will put it on a towel in the hotel bathroom. I don't like my toothbrush laying like this. I like it standing upright, like in my toothbrush holder at home. So all you have to do, every hotel always has those cups, either a coffee cup or a styrofoam cup, usually next to the coffee maker. And I always will grab a cup. This is just a cup I had in my house. And I will take my baby scissors and I will punch a couple of holes in that cup, depending on how many toothbrushes I have. And then you can take your toothbrush, you can stick it in the hole, and now you have an automatic toothbrush holder. Isn't that the coolest idea ever? Your toothbrush will dry out. Your toothbrush won't be laying on the hotel counter. It's like my favorite idea ever. It's the small things in life. Okay, my final organizing tip of the day has to do with gift cards. So before my daughter and I went on this trip, we knew it was going to be pricey because it was a pretty long trip. It was over a week. We stayed 8 or 9 days. And we had to stay in different hotels every night because we stayed in the hotel according to the college, that in the city according to the college that we were visiting. So we bought gift cards ahead of time for some restaurants that we knew we were going to be eating at. Now at night we usually went to whatever the local restaurant was, but in the morning and the afternoon, because we had so many college visits and because we were on such a tight schedule, we knew that we would want a quick bite and at some place familiar. And also along the trip, I knew we'd be stopping at Starbucks just to stay awake for the drive. So we bought, before our trip, about 2 months before our trip, we started picking up some gift cards at the local supermarket for restaurants that we knew that we would definitely go to. Starbucks and Culver's and where else? IHOP and Subway, Jersey Mike's, a couple of places like that we knew that we would be eating at along the way. And we did that for a couple of months so that by the time the trip came around, we had a nice stack of gift cards. And as soon as we were on the road and we, saw one of those places and it was an area that we wanted to stop, we were able to go into the restaurant, use the gift card, and be on our way. And the nice thing about that is that you don't have to spend every penny in 1 week. You can kind of 2 months before, spend $20, and then 2 weeks after that, spend another $20, and then another 2 weeks after that, spend another $20, so that what you're spending on your vacation didn't all come out of one paycheck. It kind of came a little bit at a time, from before. It kind of doesn't hurt your your wallet so much after your trip, because so much of that was prepaid along the way. So anyway, those are my organizing tips for today. The bringing your baby scissors with you, making your very own toothbrush holder, and pre-buying restaurant gift cards for a long trip if you're pretty sure all of those restaurants are going to be on your route and in the location that you're going to be in. Okay, so this is turning into a long video. Are you still with me? 21 minutes, I think, already. Okay, so the book that I recommend, I'm in this book chat. I just finished reading it. So amazing. And I don't say that about too many books that I have read, but this one I really, really like, and I hope you enjoy it if you decide to read it. It is called Ordinary Grace. It is by William Kent Krager, and it's one of those page turner books that you absolutely cannot put down. It's a story about a 13-year-old who runs into all sorts of tragedies in his life and how he gets over those tragedies throughout his life. He lives in Minnesota, so I liked that he lived in Minnesota. It made the story really interesting. He was the son of a minister. That made the book really interesting. And I like books that kind of show that even if your whole world is falling apart, that you can actually still not only survive, but thrive. And I think this book did a really good job of doing that. And it's one of those murder mystery plot twists. You don't really know what's happening, and it's just really, really good. And I highly recommend it. In fact, I wrote a quote that really touched me in the book. I'm going to share it with you today. It said, and what I know from my studies and from my life is that there is no such thing as a true event. We know dates and times and locations and participants, but accounts of what happened depend upon the perspective from which the event is viewed. And looking at where we are today in society, it's such a true statement. And it really just touched me that every single story that you hear is from somebody else's perspective, somebody else's views. And anyway, it's just something that was really interesting to me and very timely. So finally, I'd like to just give a quick shout out to one of my readers. Her name is Teresa, and she is from Thunder Bay, Ontario, Canada. And she sent me a beautiful handmade birthday card for my birthday, which was at the end of July. And she basically said, best wishes for another great year and many more. Receiving a card in the mail to me is just so special. It's just one of those things that, you say to yourself, oh, this person just really took the time to sit down, think about me today, wrote a note, went to the mailbox, put a stamp on it, went to the mailbox, mailed it. It just really is a special feeling when you open a mailbox and you get a handwritten card inside that mailbox. So I really appreciate this card, Teresa. And I have to say, I have received so many, probably hundreds, I would say maybe 300, 400, maybe 500 happy birthday greetings back in July. And oh my gosh, it made me feel so good. So thank you to everyone who did that. It's really sweet. Anybody who thought of me that day, um, it was really, really sweet. And if you're having a birthday, if you had a birthday recently in July or you're having one in August, I hope you have an amazing day and another great year to be alive. So that concludes today's episode. We went through a whole bunch of things. I know that that was a lot, but it has been super fun for me to sit here and share with you today. Once again, if you're not a subscriber to my GON newsletter, please subscribe. I can't wait for you to join us. We have a lot of fun stuff coming up. We're in the last full month of summer. We're getting into the back to school season in September, Halloween and fall and pumpkin spice and all that in October and November, and then of course the holidays coming up fast and furious in December. So hope you are with me, and I hope you join me in my next video, and I wish you a beautiful, beautiful day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.